Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet Holistic. This is Todd Schaefer, and with me is
Kira Schaefer.
And we have a wonderful guest with us today. We have the amazing, the wonderful Donna Kiel. And welcome to the show, Donna. How are you today?
I'm great, Todd. Thanks so much. And thanks, Kira. It's great to be here.
We had a little bit of a chat right beforehand, learning that Donna is an INFJ and a Midwesterner, just like me. So everything is going to work out perfectly.
Great.
Yes, for sure.
Donna is a As You Wish solo author, and she's in our solo author group on Facebook, and she's in the middle of writing a solo book, and she told us a little bit about what it is right before the show, and it's very exciting material, actually. Donna, can you tell us a little bit about what your book is about, like an overview?
The very short version of what the book is about is how best to take your life from being a chaotic mess to being something where you are living your true purpose, but also fitting into society. So what I found in my journeys, both in my own messy, imperfectly perfect life, and then in my role as a teacher, counselor, and I used to be a principal, and then became a professor and a life coach, is that we have this wonderful experience of life where this purpose that we were supposedly all born with seems to change all the time, and we're always searching for it. But also, as I've read like other novels as well as other self-help, it seems that to get to that purpose, a lot of great, wonderful wisdom tells us we have to pack up all our bags and live in Tibet and eat grain. And that's wonderful, but it's not real practical for me.
Yes.
So what I've found, and it's really been both in listening to people who've wondered at some point or another, should I change my life? I'm not really happy right now, or myself, is that you can do both. But doing both involves these three things, which are the cornerstone of the book, and I call a framework for living, is having really clear understanding of where you are right now and letting go of the past, really looking at your own truth, and then opening yourself up to be free to invent something new that might not fit, but also can give you a good income and not alienate you from, good old cousin Joan, who might be a pain in the butt. So it's kind of balancing everything in a practical sense and I'm a real practical pragmatist and like really simple tools that I can remember. And so that's what's the book evolves around, these really simple things that when you're in suffering and kind of struggling, what you can do.
I really love that. Spoken like a true INFJ. I don't mean to make it about MBTI here, but INFJs have a real knack for taking broad concepts and then sort of systematizing them or making them practical. And we really are good at internalizing things and creating meaning for people and for ourselves, first and foremost. So I think it's kind of funny that, you mentioned the Tibet thing and whatnot, because since the world is dominated by sensor thinker personality types, the free world thinks we automatically have to go do something else and find ourselves by doing that other thing. When you really do get into the spiritual stuff, it's all about going inward and not really about going anyplace else. You can definitely find, it can help you to go elsewhere and do what you need to do, but it's not necessary. And I think a book like that is really going to be highly effective for teaching people spirituality through your eyes in a way that helps them to go inward and realize that, hey, the answers are already in there.
Yeah, you're so right, Todd. And I think, and I've learned this a lot, that I've always thought of life as seems like this wonderful game of hide and seek that never ends. And we think we always have to find the answer that somebody else has. And, it's not just that simple thing that was in The Wizard of Oz, you've had it all along, but you have to know how to get to where it is that you've had all along and still kind of keep whatever it is that you absolutely like. Like, I really like to have enough cash to buy ice cream. That's a good thing for me. So I don't want to give that all away, but I want to make sure that as I navigate kind of the world around us, because this is where we live, we weren't dropped on a different planet, that we can know how to find what's deep inside of us that will give us those sparks of joy.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And as an INFJ as well, we have this thing that, and if people don't know what that basically is just basically we're like 1% of the population. So it's important for us to seek each other out because we find that love and support system within an environment that's healing and healthy and that kind of thing. So which also brings me back to the solo book and to the group, because you are a part of the solo book group. What kinds of things do you see as a benefit of being in that space with other authors just like you?
Because for me, it's a group and a community, a tribe of all of us messing around in this very struggle to get our voice heard. And it's hard. It's writing itself is a lonely little profession that we love because we come out of the world, we go into our own heads, and then we try to bring it back out onto words on a paper. And we can, if my solo authors are anything like me, we can get lost in there in that head of ours, you know, and the heart kind of calls to us. But I think knowing that you're not alone in the journey, and also I think for me being part of this group is having that commonality of the story of the struggle, but also having solutions. I really am a very, very INFJ. I want to know, what did you do to get out of there?
Yeah.
And then how can I take that and maybe make it my own so that I can get out of here now? I was just this morning, I had the worst case of writer's block yesterday, and it ticked me off to no end because the day before I was like flowing like a river. I thought, this is cool, I'm in it. And then yesterday hit this wall. And then today, as I was thinking, okay, what's the thing that I need to spark that inspiration? I looked up and there was Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey staring at me. And I thought, oh, got it. It was like this little strategy of people have forged this path before in their way, but I can take a little bit of that and forge my own. And I think that's what the group means to me. It means, hey, I can learn from Kira, I can learn from Todd, I can learn from you, and then I can make it my own, and then maybe I can give something back.
Yeah. You know, there's an old quote that goes like this. The people who speak the most have the least amount to say. And the people who speak the least have the most amount to say. And, you know, not that we necessarily target people and certain types of personalities, but being intuitive feelers, we do attract a lot of feelers. And so it makes sense. You know, it's the law of attraction. I mean, that means that the materials that we produce to be supportive to our authors are going to be probably more helpful to them, because feelers, you know, might not be inclined to say a whole lot, and they do need that kind of support. And they have a lot to say. They have a lot to say. We need intuitive feelers to start speaking.
Yes.
And you know, any feeler who's ready to start speaking like an INFJ or any kind of feeler really is going to provide a lot of benefit and a lot of perspective to this world that's really asking for it right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we actually almost, I think for me anyway, as an INFJ, in order to have that, my voice be heard, I always need like a little prompt, a help. It's like, give me something that, you know, maybe you had an insight on or something, and then I can process it, that whole internal processing, and I can come up with something new and creative that not only supports me, but might support you. And I think sometimes when we're with folks who maybe don't understand that, there's the tendency to talk over us. It's like the great quote that you just shared, Todd. It's that they're talking. In the meantime, we're, 300 sentences back when they first said something, thinking, how'd that relate?
Right.
I'm still chewing on that first sentence.
Yeah, it's like, where'd you go?
Yeah. That reminds me. We were talking about inspirations earlier, just the things that inspire you, and some of the quote. We talked about some quotes. Talk to me a little bit about those inspirations.
Yeah, there are two quotes that really have, and recently sparked, something inside of me. And one actually I came upon because I'm not a big studier of Albert Schweitzer. I had to actually remember where I had heard the name before. But a colleague sent me this quote out of the blue. I think it was in response to something I had done. And it said, in everyone's life, at some moment, our inner flame goes out. And it's connection with another that reignites that flame and gives us purpose. And we need to be grateful to those who are reigniting our flame. Mm-hmm. And she had sent it to me because obviously that was the connection that helped her regain her purpose. And I think that's actually the gift of those of us who are authors, and especially INFJ authors, is that we can see in others, because we're so focused on internally process, the beauty that they bring, and we can, if given time, articulate it to them so that it reignites their flame. But for me, it reminds me of why I'm writing. Mm-hmm. It's that this whole purpose of writing is not about ego or getting published, or although that's wonderful, but it's really about, can something that I say reignite a flame in someone else that maybe went out for a while? Mm-hmm. And then can something they say do the same for someone else? So that quote has really been pivotal for me to kind of keep me focused on the real why of what I'm doing. And then there's another quote, and I needed it yesterday when I was in this moment of writer's block for sure. And it's by Hafiz that I kind of carry with me everywhere I go. And I'm going to put it in my version. In the quote, Hafiz, it's a poem where Hafiz says, "The place you are right now, God circled on a map for you. You are exactly where you are supposed to be." For me, that always reminds myself when I'm in those moments of frustration, whether it's block or feeling like what I've written is a piece of crap, I think, okay, I'm supposed to be here. I need to go through this to get to that next space. Because I've always believed, life is creating exactly what we need at exactly every time. Right. And our only job is just to pay attention and stop fighting.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, those are two incredibly powerful quotes, and it really just brings us right to the truth of things. Yeah, it's like, how am I showing up in the world? Number one, being of service in the way that you're expressing, and then and through my expression, and then of course remembering I am where I am, and it's okay. Powerful. It's a powerful understanding. So we just have a couple minutes left here, and let's go ahead and wrap it up a little bit. So do you have just a closing thought for our friends listening?
Yeah, I think for those of us who've taken the time to pause and say, I've got a message to share, or maybe we're thinking about, I know that there's a message in there to share, believe in it and know that you're worth it. And also, I defy you, because there's a whole world waiting for just your voice. And who are you to keep that world from that voice? Mm-hmm. So you have a responsibility, but you also have an inner calling. So I have to remind myself of that. Like, who the heck am I to say, no, I can't get this done? Somebody's waiting for this.
Yes, absolutely. So how can people reach you or connect with you?
Sure. So you can connect with me either via my website, which is www.donna, Donna, Kiel, Kiel.com, all one word, Donna Kiel. Or you can email me if you want some shared inspiration or any kind of coaching, or you want to give me coaching. I'm always open at DrDonnaKiel@gmail. So Dr. Donna Kiel at Gmail.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Donna Kiel.
Thank you, Kira.
And this is Planet Holistic. I'm Kira Schaefer.
This is Todd Schaefer. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you so much. You two are phenomenal.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.